Hi there, this is Susie back again, and today she is doing her final update on her standard pelargoniums. So in front of me you can see a variety that I did about 2 videos ago. This is obviously the 3rd one I'm doing, but when I did the first one you would have seen that I planted them and really showing you how to prune them, how to tie them, what needs doing when you're forming into a standard. The crispimum variety there, the variegated one, as you can see over there, that one I will show you the last trimming of it, and you can see how much it has grown. And I will be trimming so it sort of forms into a round bush, into a ball really. It hasn't set any flowers, but that's okay because I would prefer it to bush more than anything else, this particular variegatum pelargonium, and it really does literally very well when you're trying to train them into a standard. And over here is the deli that I obviously planted and made it into a standard, and since then I have been able to let it get some flowers, which has been really heaps of flowers on them, and now it is coming to an end, and possibly I will let it flower, and maybe today I will just tidy it up. And so this is how far I have come so far with this particular one, and it has formed a lot of branches and things like that. That's what I expected it to do, and it is literally performing really well. And over here is another pelargonium, and this particular one, I don't know the name of it, but it is similar to this particular one, and it did have purple flowers, and I let it flower because I'm only doing it for my own home use. It's not out going into the show by all means, you know, it's my own home use, so I am not too particularly you know, really fussed on how they should be doing and what you know, what this particular plant should be performing like, because all I want into a nice standard, and at the end really bushing them up and giving me lots of flowers. And right next to it I've got a Henry Cox that have trained it into a standard, so that would need certainly pruning because I can see it splitting on the top here, so I will remove the weaker branch of that. And similarly, it's the same as this particular variety, so these two are the same ones that I did, and I just didn't know what they will flower like, so that's why I wanted to see the flower, so I let it flower this year. And obviously I've got 2 purple the same, and that's okay. And I've got this Henry Cox I've just talked about, and the other one that I did was this particular one. Actually is a crocodile ivy, and I've got buds here. Obviously I had to, which is already flowered, another bud. I let it bud and flower, and I think I've done quite well as far as the branches bushing up there quite nicely. And same with another deli that, you know, it was a little plant that I tried to train them becoming a sort of one of those, really the bigger one, but I let it flower because, as I said, it's not for the show into a showcase, but it's just for my own interest. And I will let this flower and possibly trim all the already flowered one. And remember, I also talked about another apple rosebud that I would like to try and see how they perform in a standard. So far so good, and I have got a beautiful flower. I let it flower, and I will probably trim a few leaves or take some leaves off and let it grow straight in there. And right at the back, this 2 here, I let it flower, this particular one. I believe the flower, when it did flower, was Winston Churchill, and it was a massive round ball. I should have taken a photo when actually it wasn't flower, but it was a beautiful flower there, and I managed to get the same height as that, so it did increase another 2 inches for me, really. From last it was up to here, and I managed to get up to this branch here, and now I'm really pleased that it has really reached the same as that one. So they just need tidying up, trimming, cutting, and I would start off doing possibly this one here, where I'm just gonna take all these leaves off and perhaps put another tie onto that. And this would be my final video on standard pelargonium for this season. And next year, obviously, I will be doing the same trimming, chopping, exactly what I'll be doing today. So there won't be much use making another video. And if you go back, you can really see how I started to what I did in the second video to the third one. And I think I've covered just about everything. And don't forget, after doing all what I'm doing, try to feed them. Reach after all this, give them a feed and see how they grow throughout summer. So basically you take all the extra leaves off, and of course take all the flowers that have already finished flowering, and let it possibly just leave this one to finish flowering. And when it finishes flowering, I will chop it over here, and I'll just see how far this stem would reach, really. So I'll just keep an eye on that. And then this particular one is doing actually really well. There's not much I can take it off, except there are some brown leaves that I can see, and you just take them off, those brown leaves, and make it all neat and tidy. I can see that most of them has got buds, small bud coming here and one over here, there. I'll let it flower actually, and let it do its thing while it wants to flower. And that's pretty good for it to, you know, just carry on what it's doing. So that particular one I had done, so these 3 are done. And next one is this one here, which isn't really much to chop. I have a feeling that these have finished flowering, so I will get rid of it right from here, and hoping that it will start giving me another stem up the top and keep going. That's what I'm hoping. And take all these extra branches off, so that the main branch really takes shape, which is just that one there. And with this one, do the same. Take all these branches off, leaves off, because you don't need any extra leaves. And I'm gonna cut this particular branch off as well, because all the goodness is, otherwise I'm gonna plant that. So whatever you know get out of it, the plant, you can replant them. So I'll do just that with that one. And now I wish to straighten this up. It'd be interesting to see how this one will straighten up. So tie one of these here, without breaking, without too much coercing. Hopefully it will embrace by itself in time. All I can do is just keep on trying and train it to go upwards. So that one is done. Right, now that one's done, and coming back to this one, take every little bits and pieces that you can see, and so this has finished flowering as well, so I'm just going to chop it off here and tie it basically. Tie it and make it grow straight, well, as much as you can. As I say, this is not for showpiece, because in the if you were to show all this in the pelargonium society's meeting, or when they have the shows and stuff, they have to be reasonably straight and a very good looking plant. But this is just for us to play with and get your own standard done at home. And it's not a pleasure, actually. I get a lot of pleasure doing all this, because it just gives you another avenue to showcase your own pelargoniums in your own style. I see some splitting happening here, and what I will do is literally get rid of that one, and if I cut the wrong one, I might actually cut the wrong one, but it doesn't really matter. As I say, it is for our own use and things like that, and then you tie it back. And hoping that this will grow straight and strong. That's the whole idea. That's okay, that should actually mend in nicely and give me a nice strong plant there. Now these big ones are actually quite tall, and it has gone quite, growing quite well. And as you can see at the bottom, I have a little baby growing, and really speaking, I don't really want this baby growing. And you just chop them off like that, and you can plant them. So I've got two to plant. And all this here, see there's another baby here growing from the side. You can take that off, and all this here, and the flower is finished flowering, so take that off. And as you can see, there is a split. As you can see, there's a split here, two bits. And this will now start to form a lot of new branches. So I'm just going to pinch that and pinch that one there. That will give me quite a lot of branches, same as that one there. So I'm really happy. Looks like there is a rust, so I must remove this leaf. You don't want rust forming. So always check your plants for all sorts of diseases, because they're very easy to get rust and things when the humidity is high and a lot of moisture, and of course rusts are airborne, so it could pick it up from the soil or from other neighboring plants. So that's that one done. And here comes this one here, which I'm really pleased the way it's coming and performing. A lot of new branches. This one is a little bit more in advance compared to the other one. And and when you get the rust, make sure that you dispose of your rusty plant properly, not in the green bin, because it will get recycled amongst other green matter. You want to dispose them in the red bin. I'm just gonna take some of the tips off because I don't need them, and this one I will be taking it further down from there. And of course I did not turn this plant around towards the sun as often as I should have really, but that's okay. I shall do that. So don't hesitate to rotate them so you can get an even growth in them really. So you can see a lot of little ones coming, so I'll let the sun sort of shine on this side and get the plants moving on the other way. And finally, actually I've got two more. This particular one here is my at least more than 2-year-old stem. So that's why the stem is really well mature on this one. And it is still flowering, so I shall just leave it flowering. Just check for all the bugs and take leaves that you don't really want in here. Too crowded, take the leaves that are really crowded, because you don't really want at the end the bugs getting to them. Check for any brown leaves or any dead matter sitting on the leaves and things like that. Just make sure you just remove them. Which I have all these plants sitting under the tree, so there's always, you know, the dead trees, branches, leaves and stuff fall on them. Now that's pretty good as far as I can see, but it just needs turning around and the sun actually to be able to see on this side more than the other side. I have really been busy in doing different things, and this way kind of little bit neglected, meaning I haven't had time to turn them around as often as I should. So I'm really happy how this one has come out, and I wonder, there's some more buds coming out here, and I'll leave it to flower throughout the season and really see how it's going. And I just literally love it. It's just such a beautiful pinky, big, huge flowers, and it's a showpiece. And there's the other one. Finally, I've got. I'll just see if I can bring that particular one around, and just so that I can trim this. This is the final one. All it needs is a good haircut with the scissors, really, and taking all the dead stuff off it. This one also sits underneath the trees, and of course you'll see a lot of dead matter with it. So I just like to chop it like this. Anything, and I can plant the little bits so it doesn't get wasted, really, whatever I'm chopping. And it's a nice, beautiful plant, this, when it forms into a nice ball. And the growth has been pretty good over spring. 2 to 3 inches, which is not bad. And of course all the leaves and dead flower matter that falls on it under the trees, and sometimes I have to go around taking all the dead flowers and leaves off it, and to make it grow and produce a lot more branches. Now I think really speaking, I have obviously done a lot of cutting. Let me see from here how it's looking. I think it's looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit lopsided. It doesn't hurt to really give it a good trim, you know, so yeah, so it's had a nice haircut there, and I have taken a lot of so this is my final video showing you now, just to maintain it from now on, really, you know, and take extra branches off or create more branches, trim, cut, propagate all the cuttings and things, and all these rubbish. I make sure that it really, because I had one rusty bit in here, it goes into the right bin, and dispose of them properly. Don't let it hang around other plants, otherwise the other plants will end up getting rust, and it's a major task really to get them out of your plant system when the rust actually hits all the leaves and everything else. So that's the final chapter for this particular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them that I'm looking after. And hopefully, you know, one day I might just, out of the blues, just do, if they have got lots of flowers, just to show you how they're looking with lots of flowers on them. Take care and have a good afternoon. Bye for now.